Well, we are here with Mary Potter again today, and last time we talked about some of her favorite animals. We also talked about her coming to Tularosa when she was 19. We talked about her getting a job at the blind school and working there, and then we ended off with talking about her marrying Tom Potter. So, what do you got for us today?
I got for you an elephant. Charles gave me this elephant. Still got the tag on it. Prove it's brand new. It sits in my room, and I look at it at night. And it's got a baby. And so I guess its name should be Charlene or Charlotte or something like that, since Charles gave it to me. And it wouldn't have a baby if it wasn't a female, so got that all figured out now. You kids, listen. This is a female elephant.
Now, you've always kind of favored elephants, right?
Oh yeah, I've collected elephants for a number of years, and I've got so many elephants, and I don't know who would like to have my collection when I'm gone, or who would like part of it. Different ones would like part of it, or what, but I would kind of like to have a home for 'em when I'm gone. Someone who'd take care of them.
When did you start collecting them? Do you remember?
Actually, no, I don't remember exactly when. But I know that we used to go to the circus. And they had the three-ring circuses and, Barnum and Bailey and that. And so I always loved to go to the circus and watch the elephants.
Yeah.
And I've always been fascinated by the elephants because of their strength and how big they are, and yet how tender they are with their young, and how they protect one another, and just different things about the elephants.
Yeah.
And one nice thing is they can wade out into the water and take a shower without carrying towels or wash rags or soap or anything. They can just shower themselves with their...
Yeah, got their own shower head on them, huh?
Yeah. And they do go in herds. They stay together, traveling and that for protection. And
I'm not sure, but I'm not 100% sure, but I think that the elephant is one of those that mate for life.
I'm not sure about that either, but
I'm pretty sure they are.
I would think so.
So what else you got to tell us today?
Well, I'm going to set my elephant in your chair. Charles got me this hat too. And maybe we should talk about the fact that I like to read. I like to read a lot. But now that I've lost the eyesight in this eye and this other eye is going, if I live long enough, I will probably be blind. And there's nothing can be done.
What did they say happened to the one eye?
Now, the hospital doctor that did the test said that it was a injured nerve in there.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I had just gotten a shot in my eye not long before.
Mm-hmm.
And it just never did.
You think the shot damaged the nerve?
Yeah, that's logical that it might have, but Fillmore said, I told you that you had macular degeneration a long time ago. Yeah, and when he first told me, he said it wasn't bad at all.
Yeah.
Well, it sure has progressed fast. But anyway, I think, this is just me thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but I think maybe when he gave me that last shot, that he may have injured that nerve.
Yeah.
Hit a nerve in there that.
It's possible. It's definitely possible.
And that, but
So, you love to read. What got you started with your love for reading?
I guess I've always loved to read.
Do you remember how old you were when you learned to read?
Well, I guess first grade I started learning to read.
Yeah.
Back then, we didn't have like preschool or anything.
Right. You just
You
first
just
grade.
went to first grade. And they taught us our vowels, and they taught us, how to pronounce words and so on. But they taught us how to look at a word and say that word,
Mm-hmm.
Later, they had kids sound it out.
Phonics. Yeah.
Yeah. But when I was in first grade, they didn't.
Which I will say, I was taught with phonics for the most part. But not every word works to sound it out. Some words have some weird spelling.
Look like they spell what you're.
So you can't just sound out every word.
But anyway, that's the way they did us. And then it wasn't much later, I guess, when they started with the phonics. But
So, did you have any favorite books when you were a kid?
oh, my favorite was one of the stories that I wrote, made up myself.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had books, but we didn't have books like kids have opportunity to have books now.
Yeah.
Just didn't have that many. We had school readers, and you could go to the library. Finally, when we moved to Taylor, and I was in junior high, I would stop by the library and get National Geographics and get mystery books and books like Call of the Wild. I've always been interested in the way that people lived, the pioneers and the gold hunters and people who built the towns and that, you know, what their lives was like.
Yeah.
And I have a variety of interests there, and it's grown over the years. But for the past few years, most of my reading has just come from the Bible.
Yeah.
Or a book about the Bible, something talking about the Bible.
Yeah.
But I've read very few books that are just entertainment books.
What were some of the mysteries that you liked?
I didn't read Hardy Boys, but I read Nancy Drew mysteries from one book to the next.
Now, Hardy Boys was like the for boys version of the Nancy Drew, right?
Yeah, it was along that same line and for the same ages.
Yeah. Were they written by the same person, or do you know?
No, I can't remember.
But it was basically the boys' version was Hardy Boys, the girls' version was
Yeah,
Nancy
and
Drew.
it always hurts me to throw away a book
Yeah.
because it's in print. You can see it, you can go over it again and again. And to me, if I can read it, it means so much more to me than listening to it.
Yeah.
And there's people who can read something to you, and people that can't.
Yeah.
They just don't know how to do it right. And a certain pastor told me one night that I read really good.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's quite a compliment.
Well, I think with reading, especially if you're reading out loud, you have to have a confidence with what you're reading, and you have to, I know a lot of people just kind of read in a monotone or that, you know, you got to put some
feeling behind it.
Yeah.
And you've got to look at the words. And do you really know what that word means?
Yeah.
Because it can be totally different from what you think it means. And you can't just skip over it, because then it changes the meaning of the rest of it.
Yeah.
So you better find out, what does that word mean, if you don't know.
Yeah. Well, and one thing too is, as language changes, the meaning of a word will change too.
Yes, that's true, especially slang language, and I guess you would say new words. And things that come along, they make new words, you know.
Yeah.
Like the language they use on computers is different from what you talk.
Yeah.
We talk
Yeah.
naturally. And used to the stenographers, you know, they did shorthand. And that was, you know, just really quite different if you didn't know what you were
Right.
looking at.
You needed to understand it to interpret it.
Yeah.
So besides reading, what other things have you always kind of
Well, I used to like to finger paint, do embroidery, to draw. I used to like to sing. I've sang in the church choir, and we sang at different churches. We used to have youth meetings at different, at that time, Baptist churches. And the kids would have, the parents would go and kids would go, you know, they'd take the kids, and all the kids would get together from the different churches around in a certain region and meet at a certain church. And
Yeah.
they'd play games and sing songs and give testimonies and this and that and the other.
Were you ever in a school choir or band or anything?
I was in school choir.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to have music. And I never got to play an instrument, though.
Is there an instrument that you ever wished you could have played?
Well, I always liked the piano and the organ. And I was had an offer to be taught the guitar, but I was pretty young. I guess somewhere around maybe 9 years old, 8, 9 years old.
Yeah.
and maybe a little older than that, but not very old. And the guy that he came to our house, he talked to my parents, and he wanted to give Bud and me both guitar lessons. But he was set up down in a bad part of town. Well, they thought it was bad then. They didn't know what bad was. Not at that point. That was nothing.
And where was that at?
In Taylor.
Okay.
And Daddy wouldn't let us go because he was afraid it being in that part of town and us being young. It's something might happen to us, you know.
Yeah.
But now I used to go downtown with Mary Jo.
Your cousin?
Well, she's my third cousin. But anyhow, I used to go to town with her, and we'd go off downtown, buy shoes, and go get fountain ice cream, ice cream sodas. And so they were a dime, I think, at that time. And anyway, then one day we went in there to get an ice cream soda, and it was some other girl that waited on us. And so we told her we wanted an ice cream soda, and she says, well, that'll be 20 cents or something like that. And we told her, we get them here all the time for 10 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the soda's 10 cents and the ice cream is 10 cents. We said, okay, give us an ice cream, give us a soda in a glass. So they did. We plopped the ice cream in there, mixed it up. Ourselves right in front of him. Did she think we'd that dumb? Apparently she did. But anyhow.
Now, had they really raised the price, or was it just she was...
I don't know what she was doing, because all the time before, and we frequented that every time we went to the town nearly. We would go by and get us an ice cream soda.
Yeah. So you don't know if she was just trying to pull something or what?
No, but I know that we outfoxed her.
So y'all just shared the ice cream and the soda, huh?
No, we both got a soda, and we both got the ice cream.
Uh-huh.
But we just put it in our soda.
How much did she charge you?
Well, she couldn't charge us for an ice cream soda because she didn't make one.
But how much did she charge you for the ice cream and the soda?
I don't remember.
But it wasn't the 20 cents or whatever?
I don't guess so. But anyway, she was so dang. She was just a young girl, herself.
Yeah.
And just 'cause we was a kid didn't mean we was gonna let her get by with it.
Yeah.
But
So that was over in Taylor, right?
yeah, that was one of the times that we lived up there at Taylor, and I went to the 6th Street School, and then we graduated from there and went over to junior high.
Yeah.
It was in the high school building.
Yeah. So reading, collecting elephants, painting, singing, that sort of
Used
thing.
to write a lot of letters.
Any other special interests or hobbies that you've had throughout the years that you really like?
Well, I've sort of taught myself to type.
Yeah.
I don't think I could do it now, but back then. And I taught myself a lot about how to spell words and stuff, because I got me a dictionary, and I sat down there with the dictionary, and when I went to write a letter or anything, I'd look up the words I wanted to use, and if I didn't know how to spell them or that, and spell them.
Yeah.
So they'd be right. And I did a lot of learning to look up words in the dictionary.
Yeah.
And people have kind of gotten away from that,
Yeah.
In fact, they've gotten away from writing handwritten letters and all kinds of things they used to do. Used to, when we'd get a gift or something, we always sent a thank you card or something,
Yeah.
And people didn't necessarily run out and buy a gift. They might have made something for you, But they didn't always go out and buy a gift. Sometimes they just gave you a card, like for your birthday. Or if they had plenty of money, they might give you a little money.
Yeah.
Something like that. But it was never nothing big.
Right.
Because people just didn't have money. Gosh, things were so much cheaper back then. But compared to things now, you wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
You could buy stuff for a nickel that now probably they get at least $1 for.
Yeah.
And they had a candy store on our way to school. And on the way to church, too, because we went down the same street. And there was this boy that was loony. And he was mean, though.
Yeah.
He'd come out in the middle of the street and stop you and ask you all kinds of questions. Their last name was Love, and his name was Bobby. So Bobby Love, and everybody watched to see that Bobby Love wasn't out there in the yard playing when they went down the street. At least the kids did, you know.
Yeah.
And they'd take him downtown and let him hang around on a pole or something out front of the store while they went inside, and he'd pester people, and
Yeah.
that wasn't right. They knew how he was, and he was big and he could hurt somebody if he had a mind to, which I'm not so sure he didn't have a mind to.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Well, is there anything else you'd like to add to this video?
Well, it was at the First Baptist Church there that my mother and my dad and I all got baptized at the same time.
Yeah.
And later, Bud and Nancy got baptized there, I think.
How old were you when you got baptized?
I was 13, I believe.
Yeah.
Nancy was the youngest that got saved and baptized, and she'd been laying down during the whole sermon sleeping. At the end of the sermon, they gave the altar call. She gets up and marches up front and gives her heart to the Lord.
Yeah. How old was she?
About 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Very young.
How old were you when you got saved?
I said 13.
Oh, I thought that's when you got baptized.
I did.
Oh,
But
you
it wasn't
did it.
that long in between.
Oh, okay, about the same time?
Yeah.
Okay.